Yep, yep. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. We're gonna do some back squatting. So if you have a squat rack, great. If you don't, kettlebells, dumbbells will do fine. We're gonna get rolling here in about 1 minute. So we'll start with a warm up on a run, a row, or a bike.
I don't know what a back squat and what I need to get for that.
All you need right now is this you set up right here?
Right here.
You're set?
Oh, I'm good.
You're good?
Okay.
That's all you need?
All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's get rolling, guys. So we're gonna do, oh what? Nobody wants to come up here? Pat. It's all set for you. Come on. Lynn. She needs a break. She needs a break. They don't care if you're going just empty barbell or whatever. All right, guys. We're gonna roll. Just take 2 minutes. Run, bike, row, just move nice and easy, okay? I know I know you guys are probably fatigued a little bit. This is a bye week. Let's go for 2 minutes, just kind of moving. And I want to explain to you what's going to happen as we move through this. But let me give you these first 2 minutes just to kind of chill out and see if you can get going here. So 2 minutes, run, bike, or row. Okay. Good, and I see Mark, yep, you're good. Again, you guys, we're gonna be back squatting here, but it doesn't really matter. Any kind of a squat, any kind of a load that you have will work just fine on this. Morning. Good, guys. So about a minute here. We've got a warm-up that's going to require a kettlebell. So at some point you're going to need a kettlebell. That's number one. And then number two is we're going to do about 10-15 minutes of just skill / warm-up work before we even start into this back squat. And just to set everyone's expectations, this is not like I'm going to do 100 back squats or I'm going to do like a super heavy back squat day. This is like, let's just talk about position and see if we can get into good shapes here before we go into that next week. So no pressure here today. You guys, about 10 seconds, you're going to come off. Good. Okay, rest there, come on off. All I want you to do is, I just want you to see, I just want to really talk about the feet. Just please understand this. I obsess over the feet when it comes to squatting, running, moving, because the feet will express what is happening at the hip. So please understand that. That's why you have to have a language and understanding for what's going on at your feet. Whatever happens at your feet means that's what's going on at your hip. You just need a kettlebell for this. It doesn't have to be a heavy kettlebell. But we're going to start by doing a set of 20 air squats. Just an air squat, 20 air squats. And here's what I want to have happen in this first set of 20 air squats. You're going to get your feet a little wider than a normal squat stance. Okay, and the only thing I'm going to talk about, 2 things today, just 2 things. Are my feet straight forward, like literally, toes straight forward, and is the pressure under my foot even from the ball of my foot to my heel, that pressure even. Okay, so you're going to squat 5 times, Okay, just do 5 squats. Okay, trying to go as deep as you can into your squat, as deep as you can. Okay, and then every 5 squats, you're just going to walk your feet in, okay, a couple inches every 5. Okay, and then eventually you're going to finish with your feet all the way together. Okay, and I want the pressure on the foot to be the same. I want the toe to be forward the whole time. So those are the only 2 things. 5, 5, 5, and 5. 4 sets of 5. Each set walking your feet in a little closer. Toes are forward. Toes are forward. Good. And the pressure under your foot is the exact same. Good. You're going to do 20 of these. Starting wide, getting narrow. Good. Starting wide, getting narrow. When you get narrower, you will need more ankle mobility, or the pressure under your foot will change. Okay? Good. If you start to notice one foot starts to slide out, okay, and the other one stays forward, the glute on that side is not working. That's what creates torsion and torque under your feet. Good. Good. Once you've done this, I want you to stay in your most narrow position, that you've got. And I want you to try and squat all the way down in that position so that your heel stays on the ground. So you're going to squat all the way down, see if you can get your your butt below your knee, your hip below your knee. Okay? Like you're just sitting down. Okay? And some of you are going to be like, oh, the only way I can do that, that's perfect, is if I come up on my toes. Okay, that's the only way I can do that. Stay there. No. Stay there for a second. Good. So in that position, okay, some of you might have to come up onto your toes and bring your heels off the ground. The giveaway here is like, oh, stand up. My ankle is not mobile enough to let me go down that deep. Okay, or if you're down that deep and you're like, oh, I feel binding in the front of my shin. Okay, the ankle has an issue. Now grab your kettlebell. Okay, grab your kettlebell. You do 20 squats again. Okay, so you got your 20 squats. You got your kettlebell in this front rack position. Okay, do 5. Walk your feet in. Do 5. Do 5. Do 5. And then when you get to that most narrow position right here, I want you to go to the bottom and hold that bottom position again with your feet together, and see if you can get all the way down. And what you're going to find is, oh my gosh, I can. And the reason you can is because you've loaded that tissue. This is the difference between what's called active range of motion and passive range of motion. The way we assess tissue health is active range of motion, unloaded. I can just go to the bottom of my squat, okay? I can have my heels on the ground, I can have my feet together, okay? Passive range of motion is like, oh, I put a load on the tissue, and that's what allowed me to get to the bottom position. Okay, so some of you are going to find that, yeah, maybe I can do this now. Maybe. Again, I want you to hold for like 20 or 30 seconds in that last one with your feet all the way together and your hip below your knee. You're going to hold for about 20 or 30 seconds in that position. Good. Feet all the way together, hip below knee, and see if you're like, oh my gosh, that makes it better. Some of you might have to pull that kettlebell away from your body to create a counterbalance. Good. Good, there you go. Yeah, so see, there you go. So now that solved some problems for most of you. Okay, good, stand up. But it should be a lesson or a diagnostic for you to go like, hey, my ankles are not mobile. Hop on your run, your row, or your bike. Okay, I'll tell you what's happening next. We're going to go for 90 seconds. You guys, we're going to go for 90 seconds. And I want you to spin things up a little bit. So now you understand ankle mobility a little bit. Okay, you did an assessment, a quick diagnostic. You should be like, oh, I'm missing, or nope, no problem for me. Good. Clock rolls in 3, 2, 1, you're on. This is just 90 seconds, just moving for 90 seconds. Okay, so again, you should now know like, oh, ankle mobility is an issue or it's not an issue. Okay, and then you should also know like, okay, if I load that, I can make improvements. Okay, if I load that shape, I can make improvements. So we're going to come back to that in a second here. Okay, if I load that position, I can make improvements. I'm going to show you how we're going to load that. In about a minute, you're going to come off. I do want you to spin this up a little bit. We're going to spend the next 2 or 3 minutes working on some mobility. And then we're going to do some single-sided stuff. And then we're going to do a little spin up before we jump into this back squat sequence that we're going to go through. And I say back squat, but you guys could do a front squat with kettlebells. You could do a front squat with dumbbells. If you have a rack at home, you could do a back squat. It's totally up to you. I'll help you through it the whole way. You guys got about 30 seconds. And again, we're just trying to keep moving here. Ten seconds. Rest right there. Okay? So, what I want you to do is grab your kettlebell, and you're going to load your knee, which is actually going to load your ankle. Now watch. I can keep my heel on the ground, and I can press this load. So I've loaded the tissue. Okay, as long as my heel's on the ground, I've loaded the tissue. I'm going to hold for about 10 seconds or so. Okay, 10 seconds right side, 10 seconds left side. Okay, you can do more if you want, if you've got a real tight ankle. But you can see I should be able to get my knee in front of my toe. I can get my knee in front of my toe. Okay, you're going to use your kettlebell, 10 seconds or so there, and then all I want you to do is another little diagnostic here. You're going to go to the ground. We've done this many times before. You're going to go to the ground, okay? You're going to kneel down. I've got my back foot off the ground, okay? I'm going to lean forward, okay? And I'm going to see if I can stand up out of that position. So again, I'll show it to you again. I've got my back foot up off the ground, okay? I'm going to try and lean forward and then stand up out of that position. Some of you aren't going to be able to do it. You might have to kick the ground to get up. But I want you to do 3 on right side and 3 on left side, okay? So again, you're now mobilizing the tissue. You've got the kettlebell on the tissue. You're mobilizing the tissue with a load. And then you're going to try and stand up out of the bottom, okay? Go back to the ground. Mobilize the tissue again. After you've done 3 on each side. Good. After you've done 3 on each side, some of you are going to be like, I can't do it. I got to use my back foot to help me get up. Okay? It's not a strength issue. It's an ankle mobility issue. That's why you can't stand up. Okay? Good. Let's do it again. Good. Yep, and after you've done it, 10 seconds on each side again. So once you've done that mobilization again, 10 seconds on each side again. We'll scale this up one more time. So those of you who are like, yeah, I could do that, no problem. Okay, mobilize again. 10, 15 seconds on each side. You guys can follow along with Pat. 10 seconds, 15 seconds on each side. And then I'll show you a little higher level of this to work on. That's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Need a different demo person.
Good. Yep. So once you are done, again, working on that ankle mobility, 10, 15 seconds. Now what I want you to do is I want you, if you're like, yeah, that was perfect, Christina. If you can do it, great. If you're like, nope, I just couldn't get it. And by the way, let me just explain what happens here. Okay. The only way that I can get enough torque to stand up is if I have enough room to pull my foot back underneath my hip here. Okay. If I don't, that means I lack this ankle mobility. It's going to be impossible. I cannot stand up like this. This is too far away from my greatest center of mass. Okay, so if you got it and you're like, yeah, I could do that, no problem. Okay, try and grab one heel, okay, and see if you can squat all the way down. Okay, and this is a little bit harder to do. Squat all the way down, touch the knee to the ground, okay, balance, and then see if you can stand all the way back up. Okay, that's hard to do. If you're like, no, that's not going to happen, work on the first piece again, which was simple. Saying like, hey, can I lean forward and just stand up out of that bottom position? Okay? These are all little tests for you to see where your ankle mobility is. It's not about strength. I know it's not about strength because you can actually do a lunge step. And if you can do a lunge step, it's the same thing. Good. Got it. Perfect. Good, guys. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Good. So that knee would have to go to the ground. Perfect. Okay, so here we're going to spin this up just a little bit. I want to do some single-sided work. So all you're going to do, all three of these activities are going to be loaded. Okay, so now there's just a little bit of a spin up here. Okay, just show me 2 or 3 reps where you hinge at the hip, touch the kettlebell to the floor. Okay, hinge at the hip. So it should be more hamstring work. Okay, hinge at the hip, touch the kettlebell to the floor. Good. Yep. 2 or 3 reps on each side. Some of you have a motor control issue. You got to feel your hamstring. We worked on this on Tuesday. I said, hey, keep your back flat by squeezing your shoulder blades in the back. Thank you. Some of you remembered that. Some of you are like just rounding at the back. Good. That's activity 1. Activity 2, you can load this. Okay, you're going to do a single leg squat. It doesn't have to be to a target. If you have a target, great. If you don't, okay, just go as deep as you can. It's loaded. Okay, so you can pull this out in front of you for a counterweight. Okay, if you can go all the way down and all the way up, great. If you're like, nope, that's not what I got, I just have a little half squat, that's totally fine. That load, you saw what I did with it. I pulled it away from my body. I created a counterweight with it. Okay, so just show me 2 or 3 reps again. Again, I balanced on one leg. I took this and I was like, hey, look, this is my end range. If I pull it away from my body, I can go all the way down there. Okay, good. Yep, do 2 or 3 reps on each side. Foot pressure the same. Foot pressure stays the same. Good? Yep, and then when you're done, just do 1 or 2 of these. Balance on one leg. It's a burpee, but the whole time I'm on one leg. Okay, just try that. Pretty simple. Good, the whole time. Good. Okay, so we have 3 activities here. I just want to explain all 3 of them. I'm going to use you here for a second, Pat. So we have 3 activities. The first one is a deadlift. So I'm using my glute and my hamstring. Okay, kettlebell deadlift, using glute and hamstring. Okay, you should be. Okay, the second one is a single leg squat. You should be feeling this in your glute mostly. Single leg squat. Doesn't it? It's just a counter load. Just have a weight with you that allows you to get somewhere. And your third activity is a burpee. But I want the shape of the burpee to be the same as the shape of the squat. So go ahead and show me that again. And I want you to watch how he lands, okay, the single leg burpee. Yep. He lands and his foot hits the ground. His heel comes to the ground. Yep, come up, boom. And that looks just like the shape of his squat. So for those of you who land and you like skid forward on your toe, I want you to see if you can land and get your heel pressure on the ground in that burpee even. So again, some of you are like, that's not what I want, okay? I want you to be able to hit the ground, boom, and you're already in that same squat position. Yes? Yes? Okay, here's what's gonna happen. Okay, we're gonna do this to ramp things up a little bit. 30 seconds. Okay, so I'll give you 30 seconds, you're gonna get 6, 3 on each side of the single leg deadlift. You don't have to remember this. You're gonna get 6, 3 on each side of the single leg squat, and you're gonna get 6, 3 on each side of the single leg burpee. So have your kettlebell in hand. Okay, we're just gonna kind of spin it up a little bit here. Still thinking of shape, so not going crazy. Yep, go ahead and go. Single leg deadlift with your kettlebell. Shoulder blades squeezed together, back flat. Feel your hamstring working here. Okay, feel your hamstring working. You've got plenty of time. This is not meant to rush you. Okay, you've got plenty of time. Good, in about 15 seconds, you'll do 3 on each side of a single leg squat loaded, okay, with your weight. Could be as deep as you want. 3, 2, 1, there's a change of the clock. Good, it's 3 on each side. Yeah, push that away from you, you'll make it. Good, yep, good. Yep, so that weight can be used as a counterweight to get you to the bottom position if you want. If you're like, no, I'll just hit a target wherever I can go. Good. Foot pressure, toe forward. Foot pressure, toe forward. Foot pressure, toe forward. Make sure you follow the rules. Okay, 10 seconds. You'll need 3 on each side of the burpee, 6 burpees, single leg. Don't land on anything other than your whole foot, please. Ready? 3, 2, 1, you're on. Good. Yep, so you're rolling here. 6 total, 3 on each side. You can alternate sides. You can do 3 in a row on the same side. Okay, this is telling you something about your mobility around your hip and your ankle if you're like, I can't get my foot to land flat on the ground. Good. Good, there's 7 seconds to get there. We're gonna go back to the top. We're gonna do 3 rounds of this work. 3, 2, 1, you're back to the top, so go ahead. There's nothing crazy here. Okay, 6 again, single leg deadlift, okay, with your kettlebell. And you have plenty of time to make this work. Plenty of time. Good. Yep, and you're thinking again, can I feel my hamstring coming onto tension? Can I feel my hamstring doing some work here? Good. Yep, and we will start in on a back squat after these next 2 rounds here. Same thing, there's a change in the clock. You need 6 of these single leg squats, 3 on each side. Good, it's counter weighted, yeah, unless you have too heavy of a weight, that might not work. Good. Yep. Hips go back, same foot pressure on the ground. Good. Yep, that's right. Good. Same foot pressure, toe forward. I'm only talking about 2 things with you today. That's it. Good, and when you're done, burpees, 6 again, 3 on each side. Landing on one leg with your heel on the ground. You're up. Good. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 more round of this. I like doing single-sided work. Good. Before we spend the rest of the training session with both feet solid on the ground. It helps me expose weakness, and it helps me train some of those spots that might be a little bit less stable. 1 more round here, guys. Take it from the top. 1 more round. 1 more round. Go ahead and go. Yep. Good. Single leg deadlift. You've got, it's your job to squeeze your shoulder blades back and make sure, yep, spine is organized, hamstrings doing work. Good. Yep, that's it. So your shin should not come forward here, Dawn. Don't let your knee come forward at all. Good. Yep. Switching here again now. You guys are on that single leg squat next. Single leg squat next, Pat. Yep. So 1 leg squat. Good. And this you should be all the way warmed up, I'm assuming, after this, correct? Yeah. Good. Good. And then we'll have that burpee. We'll go through that burpee 1 more time. It's 1 leg again. The whole focus here is foot pressure. Good. And one of the things that I'm already seeing, that I already noticed, is those of you who have like those big, giant, pillowy switch here on your burpees. Running shoes on with those, like this, the heel that's like, you know, an 8mm drop or whatever. It's really hard to feel the ground with that, and it disconnects you from your squat. You want to know why your glutes don't work? That's a big reason why that squishy, pillowy heel on your shoe really doesn't allow you to use your glutes that much. So if you do have those shoes on, you should think about doing these back squats with no shoes. Rest there, guys. Here's what we've got going, okay? You should be warmed up, okay? So 3 things. Number 1, you should be warmed up. Number 2, you should understand when I'm squatting, my toes need to be straight forward, straight forward. Okay, and then number 3, the foot pressure, the even pressure from the ball of the foot to the heel. Okay, that has to be constant. I can't just have it in the top, I also have to have it in the bottom of my squat. So here's what's gonna happen. Light load on your bar, light load on your bar. For some of you, you're like, I'm just doing an empty barbell. Totally fine. Okay, we're gonna do a tempo squat where you go like this. Bar goes on your back, and you're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and then you're gonna hold 3, 2, 1, and stand up, okay? With a light load, what do I mean by light? I mean, like, I could probably do 20 to even 30 reps, okay, with this load. So it's a light load. Do 10 of those. You only have 2 things that you need to think about. 1, pressure on the foot, even from the ball of the foot to the heel, and 2, every every time you stand up, you're gonna look down at your feet and be like, oh, why is my left foot out, or are my toes straight forward? Okay, remember, what happens at your feet is an expression of what your hip is doing. Go ahead and do a set of 10. Okay, go ahead. If you don't have a barbell at home, you could just use dumbbells for this. No problem, or a kettlebell. Okay, you guys are on. 3 seconds to get down, 3 seconds to hold in the bottom. You got 3 seconds to hold in the bottom. Good, and again, I would say if you've got those squishy running shoes on, get rid of them. Do this with your socks or barefoot. 1 set of 10. Good. 3 seconds to get down, 3 seconds to hold. Good, guys. Yeah, that's good, Pat. Good. Good. Holding bottom position without a target. Good. That's good. 1 set of 10. This is super slow. 1 set of 10. Good. Yep, and the reason I'm having you do this slow is so you can be like, oh, what is going on with my feet? Good. When you are done, 2 sets of 15 with a 30-second rest between the 2 sets, no tempo, just up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, 2 sets of 15, okay, still warming up into this, 2 sets of 15, no tempo. Okay, just up, down, up, down, up, down with a 30-second break between the 2 sets. You focus on 2 things only. Position of my foot, straight forward, and the pressure underneath my foot. Ball of the foot to heel has to be the same from the top to the bottom. When you're ready, you can start. 2 sets of 15. Okay, no tempo on this. Okay, just up, down for 15. Good. And again, yep, I would say, hey, most of you, if you kick your shoes off, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Okay, how disconnected you are. And if you want to learn to use your glutes, you would practice this either in your socks or barefoot. Okay, it is probably the easiest way to start to use the glutes. Okay, because many of you are just separated too far from the ground to create that connection with that big shoe. Good. 30 seconds. I've got rolling clocks up for you. No, I don't. I will put some rolling clocks up. I'm sorry. Good. So you have 30 seconds to break, and then you're going to do it again. Good. 30 seconds to break, and you're going to do it again. Good. Same set of 15. And again, there's nothing crazy about this today. There's no like, hey, you got to do burpees if I didn't do 15. Okay, I'm asking for a light load right now. This is very manageable. Okay, when your 30 seconds is up, for your rest, you'll start again. Okay? Good. Yep, that's good. Dawn, if you back up, I can see your feet. If you've got room, if not, don't worry. Yep, that's way better for me. Good. Krista, same thing. Well done. Good. Yep. Good. Good, Paul. Connect to the ground. It's the best way that you can do this. You think of your heel and your toe on the ground, and in the bottom, I can still see some of you kind of roll forward onto the ball of your foot, okay, which means you've lost the stability in your pelvis and your glutes. Good. Good. When you are done, re-rack your bar. This looks right. Okay, this looks nice. Okay, when you're done, re-rack your bar. I want you to add a little bit of weight now. So now make this, you know, something that would feel moderate. Like I could do 20 reps here. Okay, I could do 20 reps, 15 to 20 reps. Okay, still nothing crazy heavy. Okay, and I'll explain what we're gonna do. Okay, and you're okay staying right there. Yep, just right there with that weight. Yep, good. Yep, and you guys, if you just have kettlebells at home, grab if you have a heavier set of kettlebells, that's great. If you don't, just stick with the same weight. You'll be just fine. Don't worry. This is not meant to be crushing. Again, we're talking mostly about position here. Okay, when you're ready, our next set goes heavier load, ideally a heavier load. Okay, 2 sets of 8 with tempo. 3 seconds to get down to the bottom, 3 seconds to hold the bottom position. Okay, 2 sets of 8. Okay, you can rest up to a minute between those 2 sets of 8. Okay, when you're done with those 2 sets of 8, 3 sets of 12, you do not have to remember this, I'm going to keep telling you. 3 sets of 12, no tempo with 30 seconds rest. Right now we're starting on 2 sets of 8. Okay, 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1, and stand up. 2 sets of 8 like that with a minute of rest with a heavier load if you can, okay? You're on when you're ready, okay? Foot pressure, okay? You gotta think about the pressure under your feet, okay? It's the only way that this works. Think about the pressure under your feet. Good, toes straight forward. Good. Good, Maureen, I would kick your shoes off if I were you. I would take those shoes off if I were you. Yep, yep. Good. Same thing, Kim. I would take those shoes off.
Take them off?
Yep, and see if you can get you've got a really tight ankle. You could tell when we did that warm up.
Yes.
Yep, and so I think having those off is going to help you a little bit.
Okay.
Yep. That's like 1,000 times better without the shoes on, Sarah. That's good. Way better. Good, guys. This is 2 sets of 8. You have up to 60 seconds rest between each set. None of this is meant to be like, I can barely do these. This should all be manageable. By the way, that's way better. Good. Yep. Good. Yep. That's it. Good. And so again, if you can, I'm recommending you do this with no shoes on. It's a different experience. You can connect to the ground more. You can feel how your heel and your ball of your foot dig into the ground. And this will help you understand how the foot connects to the hip. 2 sets of 8. When you are done with your 2 sets of 8, the load stays the same. This leads us into 3 sets of 12 with a 30-second break on no tempo. Okay, just so you know, 3 sets of 12 with a 30-second break. Good, no tempo when you get there. Good, guys. Good. Good. That looks way better with no shoes on for you. I mean, I don't know how it feels,
I
but
always rotate out on my right side.
yeah. Good. And again, I just want to make sure that everybody understands, like, hey, look, today you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm out of breath, I can't barely do this. That's next week. Remember, like, we're done putting these, like, throwing workouts up against the wall and being like, how hard was that? It just doesn't work. So we've decided to say, hey, look, let's put these pieces all together. We're starting a bye week right now. Next week is a new phase. Okay, so you got to be bought all the way in here. If you showed up today, be like, oh, this is my one day I come to fit, and I want to get crushed. I'm sorry. Okay, we've changed the programming a bit, so I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. I feel bad. I mean, if you want to stay afterwards, I can have you do 100 burpees for time, but otherwise, we're back out tomorrow. Good, guys. So this is 3 sets of 12. 3 sets of 12 with a 30-second break, which could get a little hot for you, absolutely. Okay, especially since we haven't back squatted in 6 weeks. Good. Right? And that too. And it's freezing cold in here. I can keep going if you want. Oh, okay. Good. Good. Yeah, that looks right. Sorry, I'm gonna get my face right up in this camera because I want to see where you guys are with this. Good. Yeah, that's right. So Krista, I wonder if like just bringing your feet in like an inch or even so would give you more stability and torque. It's up to you. I mean, that looks great. I'm just wondering. Good.
Is that a new weight room, huh?
What's that?
Special put together.
Oh my God, it's awesome, isn't it? Pat's little spot down there is great. Good guys, as you get to the end of this, you're gonna make another load increase. I know I'm ahead of you a little bit. I think most of you have another set to go, is that right? Good, yep. We'll make one more load increase here. And we're gonna do 3 sets of 5 on tempo. I'll show you when you're there. Good, and again, really connect to the feet. I've only given you 2 things to do today. Say, hey, can I keep my feet straight forward? And can I feel even pressure under my foot from top to bottom? Good. Good. Keep driving your knees out. Keep pressing those knees out. Yep, there you go. That's perfect. Good. Good, so most of you are closing out that final set, I think. And as you do, we're gonna move on. You're gonna make another load increase if you can. Okay, you're gonna make another load increase if you can. And then what we're gonna, and this should feel moderate to heavy now. So something you could do like, I could do this like, 10, 15 times, which in the big picture is not that heavy, it's more moderate. And then what I want you to do is 3 sets of 5 on the tempo. 3, 2, 1, hold, 3, 2, 1. 3 sets of 5, like that. And then we're gonna do 5 sets of 9. Again, you do not have to remember this, I'll walk you through it. 5 sets of 9 with no tempo, but we're starting with 3 sets of 5 on the tempo. Down 3 seconds, hold 3 seconds, okay? 5 of them. Okay, when you're ready to roll, if you're set, go ahead and go. If you can make a load increase, you feel like that's appropriate for you, do so. Okay, if you're like, no, I'm gonna stay where I'm at, okay, great. Understand that there's only really 2 levers, right? So some of you now that you're getting into this, you're noticing that, like, hey, look, why am I squatting with my torso forward here? And the only reason you're doing that is because you don't have ankle mobility. The shin needs to be able to come forward in order for you to keep your torso upright. So one of the ways that you can look at this, say, look, the angle of my shin and torso should be about the same in the bottom of my squat. The angle of my shin and torso should be the same in the bottom of my squat. Good, and you guys can see Pat does that perfectly, right? You can see the angle of his torso and his shin are just about the same. But for some of you who really pitch forward in that squat, it's because you don't have enough ankle mobility. You don't let the shin come forward. One of those 2 things, they're related. One of those 2 things has to give. Good. So this is 3 sets of 5. Tempo. Good. 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 Yeah. So that looks better. It looks better. You can see how like you're here.
Yeah.
Yep. That's because this doesn't come forward for you. And so we got to work on the ankle mobility.
Yeah, I clearly have not.
Yeah. But it looks better without the shoes on and taking your time with it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys, 3 by 5. You're gonna wanna get on this because we got about 6 or 7 minutes. At the end, there's 5 sets of 9 on tempo with 30 seconds rest. Okay, or I mean, look, I'm saying 5 sets of 9. You might be like, hey, look, I'm done after my 3 sets of 5. You got to do what's right for you. Again, during this bye week, it's about getting some work done that is more dependent on skill than intensity. Okay, and so it requires you to kind of pay attention and think about your shape and position. Next week, it becomes more about intensity. Good. Yeah, that's right. Good, that's it. That looks way better, Maureen. Keep pressing your knees out, but that looks way better. There you go. Good. Good, guys. 3 by 5 again, and then as you make your way through the end of this, the tempo restriction, then you can begin to change, and you'll go 9 reps to a set, and you'll do 5 sets with no tempo. That would just be up, down, up, down, up, down. Good. Yep. Good. Yeah. Go ahead, Angie. Good. Yep. Looks good, Krista. Good. Paul, well done, guys. Good, Mark. Yep. Go ahead, Pat. There you go. Good. Good. Good, guys. And again, when you get to that, when you get to your sets of 9 where there's no tempo, this could be a little challenging for you. So I would encourage you to say, hey, look, where do I want to? How do I want to do this? And this is it, by the way. There's nothing after this. Like, we're done. You guys got about 5 minutes to work on this if you want. Good, guys. 3-4 minutes here to kind of work on whatever it is that you want to work on to get this done. And most of you are coming out of your tempo work and you're starting in on just these sets of 9 where you're going up, down. Good. And I would say this, hey, look, the same rules apply. Keep in mind, the reason I program in the tempo and the isometric, like the tempo and the holding work, is because, well, number one, like I said, it's hard to do, but number two, because when you start going fast, you disconnect from the movement. If I ask you to slow down or hold, it gives you the opportunity to connect, to be like, hey, what are my feet doing? What are my knees doing? What position am I in? Otherwise, it just becomes about repetition. So slowing this down during this week can be really helpful for you. And as you create those new patterns, by the way, then once you decide to speed up, you'll be better. You won't let go of some of that connection you have. And that connectivity is super important for you because, A, number one, for us, that's how we avoid injury. Right? I've always said this. It works until it doesn't work. Right? It works. I can do my push-ups until I get tendonitis in my elbow because my elbow's flaring. And so it works until it doesn't work. That's why it's important to slow things down, get them right, connect to them, and then we can move forward with a better movement pattern. Good. What set are you on? You got one more? Perfect. Good, guys. Last 2 minutes to get in whatever it is that you want to get in, and I'll begin to frame up tomorrow, just so you know. A typical Friday session for us is usually something that ends the week where it's like a little bit longer, somewhat challenging. Tomorrow we'll also do something a little longer, but the load is going to be really light. And so I'm going to ask you to go fast, but with a really light load. It's going to feel quite a bit different to you. And the demand is lower because the load is lighter. So again, I would say, hey, look, come in tomorrow. You're gonna get out of breath tomorrow. You're gonna sweat tomorrow, 100%. But it's not your typical like, oh my gosh, I can't, I'm gonna fall asleep at 7:30 at night and I'm gonna be crushed. Definitely not. You need the recovery this week. Good. Yep. Good, guys. So we're coming up on our last, couple minutes here. As you guys can see, this is Pat's last set. You're done, right, Pat? Yep. And I think most of you are kind of following along here. If you have any questions on this, hit me. Otherwise, we are back out again tomorrow. I'll close this out for everybody here in a minute. And Dawn, you got to get a squat rack. Good, guys. So last minute here, just to kind of work on closing this out. And when you are done, if you can wipe equipment down, it's helpful if you just leave your barbells out. Just wipe them down, leave them out. That way the next crew that comes through doesn't have to get a barbell out. There are foam rollers in every square. I would encourage you to, after you wipe down, if you have a couple minutes, kind of roll on something as opposed to just walking out of here hot. Find a way to cool down. Same thing for you guys at home. What I'm hoping that you took away from this was, what does the position in my squat look like at the foot? How does ankle mobility play a role in managing that good shape and position? Back out again tomorrow. Thanks, you guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good work. All right, crew. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Hit me with any questions, okay?